See Mike set his film on fire the other time?
Incredible turnout for a film that flopped in 2003. Good evening. I'm Michael Glover Smith. I just took a 5 milligram edible. If your mood is not enhanced, don't worry. It's still a great movie. I saw this movie for the first time at the world premiere, which was at the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah, RIP, back in 2003. And the cut that I saw there ran about 7 minutes longer and was also differently edited than the version that was eventually released in theaters, and that's the only version that's ever been seen since. I talk about the differences, some of the differences between the two versions in my book. Bob Dylan as Filmmaker, No Time to Think. Which I will be signing and selling in the lobby afterwards. When this film first came out, I reviewed it for a Bob Dylan fanzine in England called ISIS, and I gave it a positive review. I was a lone voice crying in the wilderness. More typical of the critical response was Roger Ebert's half-star review in the Chicago Sun-Times. He called this movie a vanity project beyond all reason. I felt very alone in 2003. But the film did have a few defenders, including Chicago's own Jonathan Rosenbaum, who called it a must-see in the Chicago Reader. He included it on his top 10 list for the year 2003. He compared it to the work of William Faulkner for its experimentation with language. And a funny thing happened over the past 23 years. This film has developed a cult of admirers that has grown exponentially every year since its release. And a real turning point was the year 2020. In the year 2020, this film was released on Blu-ray for the first time, belatedly, by Shout Factory. And a number of critics who had given it a negative review when it first came out reevaluated it in light of the Blu-ray release, which occurred during the first Trump administration. This is, after all, a film that takes place in a version of America that is a totalitarian police state, which is overseen by a dictator-like president who has a militarized police force roaming the streets of Los Angeles. And this version of America is also in the midst of a civil war. In 2003, people were confused by this. People are not confused by it now. Last summer, I met Lee Ronaldo, the great guitarist for Sonic Youth in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I told him I was writing this book, and he said, "Oh man, I love Masked and Anonymous." And he said, "I just rewatched it. It gets better every time." And I said, "Yeah, that's because we're living in it now." And we both kind of smiled sadly, nodded. It's always been said about Dylan that he knows when to pick his moments. And by the way, if you didn't know, he wrote this film. His album Love and Theft was released on September 11th, 2001. And a lot of Dylan fans listened to that album obsessively in the weeks after 9/11, including me. There's a song on that album called Mississippi, which contains the lyrics, "Sky full of fire, pain pouring down. There's nothing you can sell me, I'll see you around." Which caused one critic to ask, What did Bob Dylan know, and when did he know it? In the year 2020, March of 2020, just as the world was shutting down due to the coronavirus, Dylan released a 17-minute long song about the assassination of John F. Kennedy called Murder Most Foul. That was, yes, laugh, one of his greatest achievements. And that song also seemed to chime with the times. First of all, we were all home from work, and we had the time to listen to a 17-minute long song over and over again. Yeah. But on a deeper level, that song is about the importance of art in times of trauma. And it seemed to chime with the times. The film that you're about to see did not chime with the year 2003, but I think you'll find that it does chime with the year 2026. I hope you all enjoy watching it on 35mm. It's native exhibition format. This is the first time this film has been projected on 35mm since in Chicago since 2003. So yes, it's a big deal. And just a couple of other things, housekeeping. If you need to go to the restroom, it's currently under construction, so the restroom is through the bar. I would also greatly appreciate it if you could refrain from using your cell phones during the screening. I don't know how many of you have had the honor of seeing Bob Dylan in concert in recent years, but he makes you lock your cell phone in a yonder pouch, and you cannot access it until the show is over. Now, the music box is not making you do that. They rely on the honor system. So please refrain from using your cell phones. And one final trigger warning. There is a brief scene towards the end of this film where the actor Ed Harris appears in blackface, just so you know. Enjoy the show, and I hope to see you all in the lounge in 107 minutes.
Yeah, Michael! Woo!